One of the biggest weeks of the year is coming up for our industry, and that is Monterey Car Week. It actually is technically already started, and as the auction experts, we're here to go over some of the interesting cars that we're going to see come across the block. I'm going to go over what I think the general philosophy of the results is going to look like, and then some cars that I think might outperform what their estimations are. So let's get into the crazy, interesting, cool cars that are coming up on the block this week. First has to be the Ferrari F40 LM, and it's built to a GTC specification, which gives it 760 horsepower. I can only imagine what a 760 horsepower F40 drives like. In addition to the way a Ferrari F40 LM looks, this has to be one of the coolest overall F40s to ever go across the auction block, and the estimations definitely show that with an 8.5 to 9.5 million estimation of what this car will go through on the auction block. So this is going to be one that everybody is watching closely. All the people in the room are going to be going crazy. It'll be cool if it goes over 10 million, because obviously the energy in the room will just be crazy. We'll be there, we'll be recording it, filming it, and this is what the auctions are all about, are crazy cars like this. Next up is the Ralph Lauren Ferrari F50. It's a yellow car, which obviously is extremely rare. It is a US car, which is extremely rare, and it has 6,500 miles, which obviously makes it extremely rare. So the estimations for this car are 6.5 to 7.5. There's a lot of speculation in the industry that this car is going to go for crazy money. It'll be interesting to see. Again, kind of like the F40, it'll be in that room, energy, how are things going, what are the interested parties willing to do, and how much would they had to drink before then. So this will be a fun one to watch as well. 3,400 miles, not 6,500 miles, which makes it even more desirable. So one of the things that I'm particularly interested in, there are 3 Ford GT Heritage, this is 2006, Ford GT Heritage cars going across the block at different auction houses. So you got Broad Arrow, RM, and Mecum, all showing Heritage Edition Ford GTs. And what's interesting, and they're all across the spectrum of miles. So you have a 4-mile car, which I'm fascinated to see that one, a 300-mile car, and then a 7,000-mile car. So what's going to be cool is we're going to get to see what the market says about each mileage piece of the Ford GT. We just sold one in partnership with Merit Partners, a 900-mile car that went for $850 on Bring a Trailer. So that was the week before Car Week. So that did set a little bit of a bar there for what these cars can do. And the 4-mile car, as it sits today, today's Tuesday, is at 700 to 950 on the estimation, which is a huge range. But I definitely think that car, the 4-mile car, could do 950 plus very easily based on the results of the Ford GT that we helped run with Merit this past week. So those will be very interesting. Really excited to see those. There also are 2 2011 GT3 RS 4.0s, Porsche 911 GT3 RS 4.0s going off this week, both at different auction houses. The one at RM is interesting. It is extremely low miles. It's 160 miles on the car, but it's got sofa seats. It's white. It's got steel brakes. It's just a very low option car with sofa seats. So not the most ideal build, but also it has 160 miles. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that car does. On the flip side, there's a black 6,700 mile car with buckets, leather on the inside, all of the options that you would want on the car, and it's black, which obviously is a lot more rare than the white. So will they perform around the same? Is the white car going to blow the black car out of the water because it's lower miles? Be a really fascinating thing to watch as those two cars go off. A car that I just caught my eye and I thought was really interesting, because I'd never seen before, and I've sold a number of these cars, is there's a 2018 Ford GT competition series running, and it's at Gooding. It's interesting because it doesn't look like a Mark II, doesn't look like a Mark IV. From the outside, all appearances show that it's just a standard 2018 Ford GT, but on the inside, you've got a radio delete with a carbon fiber plate. The interior is much more track focused. So it'll be very interesting to see how that car performs. The Gen 2 Ford GTs have been performing okay. They've kind of stayed in that million for heritage, sub-million for not heritage for a while now. This is a car that I don't know where it fits because it's a track-focused car. It does have 1,400 miles, so it's not a low-mile car either. Just really curious where that one falls. Moving on to cars that I think have a good chance of outperforming what their estimations show. So there's a silver 2001 Ferrari 550 Maranello going off at RM. It's got 5,000 miles, which is low on the miles. It is Grigio alloy over a gorgeous blue interior, Daytona seats. These are cars that I really think are picking up some steam. It's a gated V12 Ferrari, right in that 90s, 2000s era, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But the estimate is only $275,000. I think it's going to do a lot more than that. I do think that that car is going to go into the 300s pretty comfortably and perform really well. There are two Porsche 911 Speedsters going up for sale, and both look like extraordinary examples. You've got one at RM that is a heritage car. So it's got the GT silver exterior with the lollipops and the numbers on the side and the heritage interior. That car is estimated to go between $450. Actually, both Speedsters have the exact same estimation of $400 to $450. The heritage car has 971 miles, and then Gooding has a car that is PTS Brewster Green with a CXX optioned interior. It is gorgeous, an absolute stunner with only 600 miles. These are two cars that I really think are picking up some steam in the market. As overall as a whole, I think the Speedsters have been performing really well. So these are two interesting examples because the Heritages always do well. And then on the green car, it's PTS, CXX interior, sub 1,000 miles, checks all the boxes. So these are cars that I do think will do over 450. How much more than that? Probably knocking on the door of 500, but it'd be fascinating to see those. There is a Porsche Carrera GT going off at Gooding with 7,000 miles, which is on the higher end of mileage for Carrera GTs, but it's still a great car. And as you guys know, Carrera GTs are cars that have been picking up a lot of steam recently. So I think there might be some buyers in the room that are just looking to add one of these to their collection, and there's not many of these going off at Car Week. So this is a car, it's pegged at 1.25 to 1.5 on the estimation. I think this car could do above 1.5 if the right guys are in the room and they're really wanting to add a clean, good Carrera GT example to their collection. Moving away from like the typical Porsche Ferrari, there's two cars that I'm very interested to see how they end up. One is a 1995 BMW M3 Lightweight. This car is super cool. It has like a BMW flag decals on the outside of it. And what this car is, it's a homologation to the IMSA M3 race cars. And so you've got a lighter car, a different interior on the car, and it's super, super special. Not only that, it only has 150 miles. So This is a car to me that has all of the right things going for it, that again, if the collector's in the room, you're probably not going to find another example like this for quite some time. So if you've got 3 guys, 4 guys in the room ready to go on this car could do well over its estimated $150,000 to $200,000 range. One of the cars I drooled over growing up was the 2009 Mercedes SL65 AMG Black Series. I will never forget the Jeremy Clarkson review of this car on Top Gear. He sat on a pile of rocks to describe what sitting in the seats felt like in that car and how stiff the suspension was in that car. Overall, he loved it. Overall, he thought it was an absolute beast that was a ton of fun to drive, but he did have that to say about it. There were only 175 of these delivered to the United States, so extraordinarily rare. This car has 5,600 miles on it, so relatively low mile car for coming up on its age. And then one of the things that sticks out to me on this car, so it's a twin turbo V12 in the car that produces 738 foot-pounds of torque. That is modern power, that is modern quick. If you've ever heard one of these cars before, most Black Series cars sound incredible, but this SL65 sounds like an American muscle car met the best of the best when it comes to European. It's incredible, and I think that the estimated 300 to 350, the right guys are in the room, this car is going to very much outperform that. So I think those are some fun cars to look at and some predictions on what might outperform. Overall though, what I'm interested to see, I think this has been happening for a couple of years now, but overall the 1990s and the early 2000s cars have continued to strengthen over the years. And I think that's what we're going to see with this year's auctions, is that the 90s and 2000s cars that have relevant power, relevant technology, but focus on the driver more than the car itself, I think we're going to continue to see those cars perform. We might see some of the older cars starting to drop off a little bit. And then the new cars, like there's an ST going up for sale. In that environment, I don't see them going for crazy numbers. Could be wrong, but I just think you're going to see those cars trading where they've been trading for the past 6 months to a year. So really fun to watch. We're super excited to go out. Cody's going out tomorrow on Wednesday. I'm flying out on Thursday. We're going to be at all of the auctions, checking out all of the events. We're going to be vlogging it, so be sure to check that out. This is one of the best weeks of the year for us. See all of our friends in the industry out there. We're very much looking forward to it. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun in Monterey, and that is our take on the Monterey auctions.